Okay.
Let's get to our No Holds Barred. If you haven't yet, guys, make sure you purchase No Holds Barred, a dual manifesto of sexual exploration and power, and join us on tour, nhbtour.com. We are bringing the pages to the stages in a city near you. We are making it so different than any live show you've seen before, but you are still getting all of the horrible, okay?
Are we picking a page or are you picking an excerpt?
No, I am reading an excerpt.
Okay.
This comes from my chapter, Why Don't They Just Call It a Vacuum? So this is the chapter around my abortion. It's in the pain section of the book. My mom says she wishes she'd had this conversation with me earlier and that it wasn't in the form of a trauma bond. No one had talked to her either, so this was part of our familial cycle. She said she would have talked to me earlier about the consequences and results of the actual birds and bees, but here's the issue. The problem is a cyclical one. Before she got pregnant at 15, no one had ever talked to her about sex either. Though we're from different generations, my mom and I both remember being told very little at school. She didn't have Planned Parenthood or any resources at the time in Newport Richey, Florida, where she grew up. I remember a sex ed class where we, and when I say we, I mean the young women, were told by our teacher to abstain from having sex. The boys were going to be boys, and the girls were going to stay angelic virgins somehow. Math is my strong suit, and I remember thinking about how it would work in real time. That math was not mathing. We were told not to have sex because we would either A, get pregnant, B, get HIV or some other sexually transmitted disease that would make you filthy, or C, all the above. Well, I was battling the multiple choice selection, and here I was, being A, pregnant. I wanted to ask both of you if there is any conversation, and I know this may be a difficult question for you because she's no longer here, but are there any conversations that you wish you had had specifically with your mom regarding sex or sexuality sooner that maybe came up later?
I think, no, because stereotypically for me, it all came from my father.
Oh, as a man,
then,
okay.
That, I swear the birds and the bees conversation was 5 seconds at most.
With your dad?
Yeah.
And your mom never had it with you?
Everything I've learned in terms of sex is from the internet.
How old were your parents when they had you? I wonder if this has to do with age.
30, because my father's 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So even later on, where a little bit more mature, they definitely knew themselves more sexually.
Yeah.
Wow, and it was still like 5 seconds and that's it.
Which is, but I don't.
What was it? Condom.
Yeah, that's really what, right? Yeah, like basically that. Just wear a condom or don't get people pregnant. Right?
I'll be honest with you. My mom, even knowing I was having sex because I had to come and throw a positive pregnancy test on the bed, I had wished that, and that happened when I was just about to turn 16. And for me, that was definitely the age where instead of me being told to go to the other room or anything like that, it should have been where when her friends was over, my aunties were over, and conversations were being had, because a lot of my mom's friends and my aunts was dating. They weren't like, again, I didn't grow up seeing healthy marriages or people in long-standing relationships. Like my aunt wasn't with my uncle. My mom wasn't with my dad. Her friends were all single bitches out, you know, they going to play pool to find some niggas. And so I wish just the conversation about how sex doesn't really make someone like you happen. And I do wish that I knew the trauma that my mom experienced with sex, with dating, and specifically her decision to have an abortion. I wish that conversation came without the need to trauma bond with each other. I would have liked to know my mom a little bit more as a woman and not just a mom, personally. What about you?
I mean, my mom talked about sex so early, and I'm sure we'll dig into this convo when we interview her tomorrow. But something that's just coming to my mind, it's interesting because like a lot of my homegirls talk about their mom with dating experiences. And I can't relate because she was married. But the interesting thing is, I think it's very reflective. I saw my mom in her dating technically every single day. All I saw was my mom as wife. You know what I mean? So even though I knew her as an individual person, I think it's probably what shaped me to be the type of person I am. because she was such a wife. Being a housewife, that's your job. Every single day, you're showing up like that. You're being that type of person.
Right.
Like it was a weird thing too, because when I got older and started dating men, my homegirls and I have, of course, had relationship talks. When I started dating romantic relationships, you talk a lot more about like my mom was single, extra, etc. I didn't realize how jaded I was to single mom's pain. Like, just because the dating experience as a mom, a kid sees it completely. They're watching it, they're viewing it. Like, that never happened to me. I don't really know what my mom was like in a courting stage. I never really asked much about like when they met. I also don't really know what kind of happens when she's heartbroken or sad.
Right.
They were in a marriage the whole time. I never saw those phases. So everything I learned about that shit is just through conversations, through friends. So that even, and your parents were married, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's something so different.
Yeah, my experience seeing that, it was interesting because through writing this book, I got to really learn my mom more and her relationship with men. And I remember getting so fucking mad at her. And I snapped at her as an adult now. I remember asking her, like, who, if any of the partners that I know of over the past 30 years, does she feel like was her favorite or the best or the one that she wishes lasted? And the name of the person that she said to me caused so much trauma as a child. Like, basically, in their breakup, he threatened to share something that led my mom to try to commit suicide. And it, like, and I don't want to cry, but I was so mad at her. I said, that's the nigga? And I said, you're pathetic. And I said, I want you to take it to therapy. This man that maybe you're remembering how he maybe made you feel, but the person that at the end tried to literally ruin our family and did somewhat, like, brought a lot of things out to where you literally almost like, and I had to witness that. And I was so upset. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. This is something recent.
Okay.
And I was just like, in terms of the conversations with my mom about like what healthy relationships could look like, it frustrates me that at 35, I feel like I'm teaching her how to date and value herself more and seek out a partner that's worthy of her. And I just feel like it's in reverse now because I've had this show for the last 8 years and I've been able to learn myself and I've gone to therapy. My mom is now in therapy for the first time in her life.
Wow.
At 55, I think.
And I mean, even now we see your mom isn't even really wrong for probably thinking it, because we now know sometimes those highs and lows of relationships, you really keep in mind the good.
Like, yeah, you want to.
You want to. So it's almost more prevalent than the good guys she probably passed over that maybe you thought about. Because
no. Let's be very clear. They all suck.
Oh, well, I mean,
like, that's why I was like, which one was the best? And what's crazy is the one that I like the most as an adult, he was an alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
He was an alcoholic and a gambler. So although he was fun and he was caring, and we really like enjoyed his presence because he was a lot of fun with my mom, financially, he was in debt because he would either drink or gamble all his money away. And so from an aspect of, he was always a great person to be around. As an adult standpoint, he wasn't great. Like, and it sucks that me looking through the history of my mom, I don't see any quality in her decisions of dating, but in talking to her as an adult and recognizing the traumas of her with her stepdad, I just see how much is passed down. And what we see, a lot of us only know what we don't want, which is why I always say, I grew up knowing I didn't want a nigga like my daddy, but I didn't grow up with an example of a man that I actually, that's an example of a man I
do the opposite to men, actually.
Yeah, you said
my
that.
ex said all the time, my dad would it's like he's just pinnacle, fuck you, like my dad this. And it was crazy because maybe towards the end of my relationship, not old babe, but another ex said, this man that your dad is so not realistic to today's time. And it's not realistic to even the man you're looking for, that when you compare, it's frustrating. My dad doesn't really drink. My dad doesn't go out. that, like, I would love someone social. I've literally said on this podcast, I won't date someone who don't drink. And so just thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I really am comparing to the man that I'm not even looking for. My dad is super chill, doesn't really care. I like someone a little more hyper, more extroverted. Like, it's crazy because I didn't know how much I was setting a standard. So it's like women really are, it's all daddy issues at the same time. Maybe my daddy issues may look different, but the fact that I compared every man, it's fucked up. Oh, well, my dad does this. He takes care of the house. He would never let my mom do this. Like, meanwhile, teamwork is such a normal part of 2025. Let's be honest about the economy here. I don't even want to be a housewife, but yet in the same breath, I'm telling you, I shouldn't be doing this because my dad would never let me do it. Like, it's almost crazy that the first impression of dating and men all comes from this one man.
From your father.
It sucks.
Oh, for you, yeah. I viewed a lot of
No, but even in the opposite way, the impression of men in a negative way or a positive, that's it.